what you do. I don't know who I can trust.
So this is the start of a character breakdown series where over the next few days, we're going to be breaking down some of the key players for Season 3. And with Tariq St. Patrick being the man at the center of everything Ghost, there's no better place to start than Tariq St. Patrick, and how this season he's going to start to learn a different Ghost lesson, a lesson in the real world of business. Over the course of the first 2 seasons of Ghost, we've seen an evolution of Tariq St. Patrick. He's had to turn from a boy into a man, and many of you may have heard the term money makes the world go round. However, what I would say is, don't chase something you can't take with you to your grave. Although the driving force behind many of our characters in Power Book 2 Ghost is different. Davis McLean, he doesn't come cheap, and if you want to live this particular life, then expect to pay the price in more ways than one. Now, some may have been forced to make the decisions which have led them to the street game, some have had their destiny laid out in front of them, and some decided to choose the game.
I chose this life just like you, okay? I'm tired of you putting your fucking problems on everyone else.
The street game is often flush with cash, with potential to live a luxurious life, because as Franklin Saint once said in Snowfall, the game is rigged, so he was rewriting the rules. But this game also comes with a price.
Raina would be ashamed of you. Every evil that has befallen this family is because of you!
Everything that has befallen on this family is down to Tariq St. Patrick, and the words that Ghost lawyer used in this scene where he said Yasmin would be adopted in case anybody wiped out their family really was fitting for the situation Tariq St. Patrick found himself in. Although we can't blame Tariq for everything, because Tasha and Ghost were no saints either, which is a different conversation entirely, and this is about Tariq St. Patrick. So even though Tariq St. Patrick has faced many consequences of the game, and where he now shares the same ambition that Ghost did in leaving the game, it really will be difficult to escape. Throughout Power, Ghost made a conscious effort to escape the game he knows only ends up in death or jail. He also aspired to the wealth and power of someone like Simon Stern, and he wanted the backing of his wife Tasha St. Patrick, although when he realized she loved Ghost, the drug dealer, and not James St. Patrick, the businessman, he drifted towards Angela, but he could never escape his past. Tariq St. Patrick now finds himself in a similar position. He's going nowhere, and the trailer for Season 3 definitely reaffirmed the same. After successfully uniting Yasmin with Tasha St. Patrick, Tariq will find himself deeper in the game, working to inherit his trust and get back to his family. But working for Nomar in a RICO investigation means he's deeper in the game and closer to the legacy of his father. But we are going to see a new side to Tariq St. Patrick in Wall Street, where he will find a legit path to success. And this is something I want to dissect in a bit more detail, because even though Tariq St. Patrick has started to learn the lessons Ghost once did, one lesson he's not learned is the lesson in the real world of business. Now, one of the lessons that 50 Cent teaches is how there are more ruthless people in the real world of business compared to the street game. Even though you come across people who are in suits and ties, and where it's not confrontational as it is in the streets, they're still betraying and taking your money from right in front of you. Whereas in the street game, you know who your enemies are, they at least give you the courtesy of showing you the gun so you can feel that anxiety, you feel that threat, you know who your enemies are, and you have all those feelings. In the business world, they do it with a piece of paper where you feel nothing.
You're good. You know that. There's no way Stern's letting you go without a fight.
Well, I sure as hell am looking forward to it.
This was something Ghost had to deal with when it came to Simon Stern. He was able to control and manipulate the situations in the real world of business through contracts and pieces of paper. And this is the harsh lesson that Ghost had to learn in the real world of business, and something that Tariq may come across in Wall Street. So where the real world and the street game are completely different, they're also similar in so many ways, and we're going to see Tariq St. Patrick face a different kind of threat. The tough lessons of the real world of business, and how manipulating men in suits can actually be, something Ghost once learned through Simon Stern. Now, questions did remain about what does this mean for Tariq's position at Stansfield now that Zeke is dead, because Simon Stern did say, if Zeke doesn't play, you don't stay. But we did see an exclusive clip that may have addressed this with Rashad Tate telling Dean Wong to cut his shit, and where he backed Tariq St. Patrick. But I also raised the question, what does he have to gain for helping Tariq St. Patrick? What can Tariq do for Tate in Season 3? In regards to Simon Stern, he's a businessman and he needs Tariq to graduate for him to inherit his Club Truth. And that's something Simon Stern has been long after since Power. So I do want to touch on another perspective. We all know what made Club Truth was the man behind it, James St. Patrick the businessman. He was able to unite communities, keep the club full and the lines long. He was able to provide a specific tailored service to every single customer. But Club Truth wasn't Club Truth without James St. Patrick, because he was the brand. So with that being said, I really do wonder if there's another move that Ghost has for Tariq St. Patrick to take over Club Truth and work with Simon Stern, because we all know how he aspired to the wealth and power of Stern. We also know he wants to be smarter and better than Ghost, But as Tariq grows older, we're beginning to see his struggle against his father Wayne, as he gradually comes to resemble the very man he wanted to defy. Tariq will never step out of his father's shadows unless he adopts a ruthless strategy of Alexander, disparage the past, create his own kingdom, put his father in the shadows instead of letting Ghost do the same to him, just like he did with the letter Tariq received in jail. The past prevents Tariq from creating his own world and ends up making him do what his father did, even if his father is dead. So Tariq needs to do something Ghost couldn't. So that's something to bear in mind for season 3, but mainly for the rest of the series. So as we talk about Tariq leaving the game and finding a legitimate path to success, we all know his end goal is to live a life which ultimately came full circle for Ghost. And that's something that will continue in season 3, despite him working for Nomar. Tariq has lost countless of loved ones, including his entire family, although one remains, Grandma Estelle.
You're just like your father.
I'm not like my dad. I'm smarter than him. Better than him.
Tariq St. Patrick has certainly made a bold claim. He's smarter and better than Ghost, but talk is cheap. Let's see Tariq putting chess moves in play to show how smart he really is. But there is no doubting, Tariq St. Patrick is definitely a smart kid, because ingrained in Tariq is traits of Ghost. But where Ghost almost found his way out with Club Truth, Tariq will be working with Braden and his uncle Lucas Weston at Weston Holdings, and this is where he'll find a boatload of success. But the problem Tariq has is, he's mixing his legit way out the game with a drug game, and we all know what happened with Ghost when he was forced to do the same. So Tariq and Braden will continue to move product, and in essence, Wall Street will be their new course correct, but on a bigger scale, because he's now the distro for the dangerous new connect, who we now know is Nomar. In the trailer for season 3, we were given our first look at Nomar and just how ruthless she can be. She runs a global empire, and that's something to be mindful of. It tells us that she's been in this drug game for a long time. So Tariq St. Patrick and the Tejadas will be working for one of the most dangerous connects they've come across, and even with Davis McLean questioning, who is this bitch? Tariq St. Patrick seems to have taken Mecca's place, but working for someone who has a global empire comes with its own set of hurdles. How on earth is Tariq St. Patrick supposed to leave the game under someone like Nomar? I'm sure that's something they'll begin to answer as the series unfolds, but something I do expect to rumble on into season 4, because I would like to think Nomar will be around for a while, because Mecca was definitely a missed opportunity. Now, what's interesting about this sit down with Nomar and Obi is the fact Effie has a seat at the table, but we all know from history, Tariq's relationship with Effie is highly problematic.
You have to tell him about Lauren.
We're taking that to the grave. What do you want, Tariq?
I want the truth.
Business is booming when a staggering reveal forces Tariq to reckon with a betrayal from those closest to him, and a RICO investigation mounting into the entire drug enterprise, pulling Tariq deeper into the business and closer to the legacy of his father. So based on the synopsis and the scenes in the teasers we've seen prior to season 3, I think it's safe to assume one thing. Tariq will definitely get down to the bottom of Lauren's death, and with Effie making it look like an accidental car crash. But this won't just put him on a collision course with Effie, it's going to change the dynamics of his relationship with Braden. And we are going to see the two in a fight, but we also saw this with Ghost and Tommy, and there's always going to be disagreements and fights in a game where morality and ethics are questioned at every single turn. But with Braden, one thing he has proved is his loyalty. They described his character as loyalty before the premiere of season 2, and that's something he backed up when he took the rap for course correct. However, with Effie, this is where shit gets real. Tariq trusted with Effie with the information that Lauren was wearing a wire. Whether that was a bit of naivety on Tariq's part, I think we can definitely make that case. But Effie took the information to Kane, who then tasked Braden to get rid of Lauren. So all 3 characters are implicated, but none more than Effie. Now where it gets super interesting is that Effie seems like she's on the radar of law enforcement. Now given the nature of Effie's character and her knowing how the game works, I would like to think she knows not to talk. But there are instances where law enforcement have lied or put pressure on characters in the past, so let's just park this one for now and see what happens after this scene. But one thing we can be sure of is Effie and Tariq's relationship will definitely face some turbulence. Now before we come to the RICO investigation in a bit more detail, we can't forget about the third person involved in Lauren's death, Kane Tejada. Kane and Tariq have had this rivalry from day one, but more so from Kane's side, who felt as if Tariq came into the Tejada organization and effectively replaced him. Tariq definitely senses that Kane had some role to play in Lauren's death, and this is a conversation that we'll definitely see continue. Why are you always worried about me when you need to concentrate on yourself? Those were the words of Tariq St. Patrick when he laid into Kane, and it definitely is true. He's been obsessed with killing Tariq, framing him, and ironically, trying to be exactly like him. But let's not get it twisted, these are 2 characters who really do complement each other very well, which is why if they do find a way of working together, they could make one formidable team. and that's something I think we'll see at the beginning. I do see them working together, so we're gonna see Tariq assembling his team of Effie, Brayden, as well as Kane, who knows the consequences if they don't move Nomad's product, but can they work together for the full season? I don't think so. Now, when it comes to this Rico investigation, as well as Zeke's death, this is where I see Monet leaning on Tariq St. Patrick more than ever before. She's just lost her firstborn son and her way out the game, and so emotions will be all over the place when it comes to Monet. So we're gonna hear Tariq asking Monet, what can I do? How can I help you? So how can Tariq help Monet? Now, one would be trying to get to the bottom of Zeke's death, but the other is moving product to pay for Davis McLean. They're gonna need Davis for two things in my opinion. One, to try and get to the bottom of Zeke's death, and the other to keep law enforcement off their backs. Blanca Rodriguez looking at Tariq St. Patrick, in my opinion, could be to send us down the wrong direction. Not because she won't be a problem, but Courtney can mention how they weren't saying Monet wasn't caught by the cameras. It's that she recognizes Tariq St. Patrick. So naturally, being a St. Patrick, he'll always be under the spotlight and in the eyes of law enforcement. But with Monet being caught on the traffic cams when it comes to Carrie's death, this is why I think Monet's in trouble this time around, and she'll need Tariq's help. Now elsewhere, there are a few other side plots to consider. Although Tariq is all alone, Yasmin does have the burner phone that he gave her in Season 2, Episode 3, and that's something I do think will play a part with Tasha returning and having communication with Tariq. I think he'll need advice when it comes to Effie, and when it comes to navigating both the drug game and the real world of business. And let's not forget, Tasha St. Patrick is the only person he can really trust. So with that being said, Diana is someone who Tariq can't trust, and that's because he knows she used him to take the product that was on Stansfield's roof, and it does seem like Diana is on that very same roof. Whether she moves to Stansfield, who knows, but if she does, that would be another problem in itself. Effie told her to be careful of Tariq St. Patrick, saying that he's only out for himself, only for herself to get into a relationship with Tariq, but I don't think she'll be two-faced considering she's in bed with someone else. Now, one last thing before we finish this character breakdown and what to expect for Tariq St. Patrick. Let's not forget the first teaser and how he mentioned they've just started a war. Who with and how is yet to be seen, but I wouldn't be surprised if they dropped a body by mistake, causing a war with a rival drug gang. And there's also the small matter of Tariq's bloody knife. Has he had to commit yet another cold-blooded murder, or is this yet another hallucination? Again, something I do expect Tariq to see is Kanan. So let's see what words of wisdom Kanan has for Tariq St. Patrick in Power Book 2 Ghost Season 3.
It's too late to be scared now, little. Mommy going, you sent her away, remember?
Nah,
Supposed to be on your man shit, right? You know what you gotta do.